we're so happy to see you back in real life after 3 years. And to mark the occasion, all the Launchpad students will be there. We can't wait to see you on Wednesday evening when you will hear 6 promising startup pitch. Over to you, London.
And here we are. Welcome to London. We are delighted to have you with us tonight. Welcome to the Grand Pitch and Cocktail Night at the Cinema Curzon. For those of you on LinkedIn or YouTube, welcome as well. You might wonder where I am. Well, I'm very close to the HEC UK house, which will open next week, the Hexagon building over there. We can't wait to welcome you there. See you very soon at the HEC UK house.
March 15th, 2023. This is a date you need to put in your agenda. Our class 2023 of the HEC Launchpad will travel to London by train, and they will experience, meet, interact with entrepreneurs and investors and the community in London. And then on March 15th, we'll have the Grand Pitch Night in the UK. 6 finalists will pitch in front of entrepreneurs, the jury, investors, and the whole HEC alumni community. In addition, in 2023, we will have the opening of our HEC UK house. There will be a spot for our entrepreneurs and innovators in London, downtown, Covent Garden. A special spot where you can meet, interact with the HEC community in London, meet entrepreneurs, meet investors, meet alumni. So join us on March 15th. You can even join us online. And please feel warmly welcome to join us at the HEC UK house.
My name is Gabrielle and I'm the co-founder of Intact.
Hello, I'm Olivia. I'm also the co-founder of Intact.
Today, in average, 3% of beauty brands' turnover are unsold valid products, which often end in the bin.
68% of these unsold products are still valid and could have been used before their due date, but no one gave them a chance.
If the problem still exists, it is because beauty brands today are not satisfied with the destocking options that they have in front of them, because it impacts directly their brand image. You can see it here or here.
And it gets even more critical when it comes to premium and luxury brands.
In 2023, with Olivia, we believe that we can do something with these products and that no waste can also be premium.
And this is why together we are building Intact, which is a platform that gives a second life to the unsold products of premium and luxury brands.
With Intact, customers have access to high-quality products at a lower price while having a responsible consumption.
we 100% commit to preserve the brand's DNA while providing access to a customer base that has not yet entered the brand's universe.
We believe that no waste can be premium,
and that all products deserve to find their users.
We've all shopped online, right? Well, almost all. Last year, 42 million French people shopped on the internet. But e-commerce's growth has been controversial, with an evident need to change our consumption behavior. And that's even more important for Gen Z. That's us. Thus, as much as 81% of merchants consider CSR issues as priority.
However, businesses struggle to engage themselves and the client because of fear of greenwashing, because it's technically a hassle, and because today it's no longer a differentiator to be recyclable. That's why we created Haggle, to allow e-merchants to have concrete commitment toward charities, but make them hand in hand with their customers.
But how? First, the client will pick the charity he wants to support during checkout out of the merchant selection. Then the merchant will donate.
Not the client.
The brand can now engage further its community, increase the loyalty, and its bottom line.
Our vision is to build a B2C product connecting committed brands and customers to support local charities.
Finally, giving purpose back to e-commerce.
This is Mark. He's an office manager. He loves the design of his offices. Chairs, furnitures, couch, wow. And he just can't wait for the next office relocation to throw everything away.
Wait, what? Throw everything away? Doesn't make sense, right? And still, the vast majority of office managers end up throwing away all the old office equipment, resulting in 300,000 tons of waste each year. That's why we created Redesk, the new superhero, saving the old office equipment from the trash.
Redesk offers a turnkey solution to get rid of the old office equipment with zero waste. We make revaluing easier, faster, and cheaper than throwing away, while sharing with the company the value recovered from the old office equipment.
Doubtful about how this could work? We'll give you all the details in a few minutes.
What if brands could generate stunning fashion photography at scale without breaking the bank? Hi, I'm Flor, co-founder of Vitan, and that's what we do.
Fashion photography is no longer an option. Brands must present high-quality imagery that will increase conversion rates, convey their brand image, and highlight their garments.
Yet, fashion photography is a hassle. There's too many people and processes involved here. Photographer, models, hairdresser, makeup artists, all this in a studio. It's a lot of time, energy, and cost lost. So imagine you could have fashion photography without photo shooting.
We offer brands an alternative. We generate an endless variety of on-model images at a fraction of the cost in a single moment. We do this with our AI that we've been working on for a year with a world-class researcher in generative AI.
So join us to see how Vitan is transforming fashion photography.
Hello, and my name is Scott Willis. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Tete-a-Tete.
And I'm Julian. I'm the CTO and co-founder.
So here at Tete-a-Tete, we help young therapists accelerate their careers with more patients and more coaching through our online group therapy platform.
Scott and I met about a year ago, and we started talking about mental health issues being on the rise. And we wanted to tackle the issue and talk to therapists and see what's going on. We found that there's a bunch of young therapists that are being undervalued. And so we created Tete-a-Tete to pair them up with more experienced therapists and provide them more supervision and clients through group therapy.
And so in terms of partnerships, we've already onboarded 10 therapists that are ready to run our pilot groups, and we've partnered up with La Maison Perchée, which is a mental health association for bipolar individuals, which has a 100-person waiting list that they can't take care of. And so we will be offering our services to them. In terms of what we're looking for, we need an investor to help us onboard more groups and therapists and build our platform.
Every day, grocery retailers have to order fresh products. To do so, they still estimate their demand based on gut feeling, causing tons of food waste. And on the flip side, 15% of lost revenues due to stockouts. But that was before EDA.
EDA is a supply chain software specialized for all the nuances of fresh food. We leverage cutting AI technology based on transformer fusion to help category managers place a profit-maximizing, waste-minimizing order for every item in their store. We predict stocks with high accuracy due to accurate demand forecasts by 2 pounds. Managers can override our recommendations, and it will automatically trigger our reinforcement learning models to constantly train itself to be better at what it does every day. Thanks to our simple IT connection with our clients, it is possible for them to order directly on our app to the distribution center and to the store's local suppliers. Our vision at EDA is therefore to transform each store and beyond, as we are the new way to win in fresh.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for being with us tonight. We are delighted to have you with us, and we know it's been a difficult way to come here between the rain and the strike, so thank you so much. So we are here tonight because the Launchpad program is in London. What is the Launchpad program? It's an amazing HEC program during which students are launching a company in 10 weeks. They start from scratch, they learn everything, and then some of them will continue. And as part of the program, they're coming to London. Why are they coming to London? Well, to meet with you, to discover another ecosystem, and maybe to open their perspectives and new markets. So what has happened? Because they arrived on Monday. On Monday, they spent the afternoon with a VC who gave them lots of advice about pitching. On Tuesday, they spent the day talking to entrepreneurs and then to an expert who talked to them about how to bring their personal stories into their pitching. And this morning, in spite of the strikes, they were all over London to meet with entrepreneurs. A few of them are here tonight, so thank you again for welcoming our students this morning. And so here we are. Now it's the final. We have 6 finalists. But how did they get there? Last week, there were 30 of them, 30 startups competing. And there was a selection jury. So thank you to all our judges last week who decided who were the 6 startups for this week. Then we had other alumni or friends who helped and mentored our champions for this week. Thank you to them, and I know a few of them are here tonight. Thank you for your support to the program. So what's going to happen tonight? There will be 2 votes. 1 vote from the public and 1 from the juries. So if you are watching us online, welcome all of you online. You can vote using this code, and actually in the room, you will also be able to vote with this code. So please take a picture. If you're online, it is also in the comments of the LinkedIn page or the YouTube page. So that will be for the prize of the audience. And then, that's a prize of the jury. We have a wonderful jury with us tonight. Thank you for being with us. So Nathalie, you are the president of the jury. Thank you, and thank you for being with us. Nathalie, what do you expect from tonight?
So what I'd like to see tonight is really scalable digital tech companies that make impact, first of all. I'd like to see as well HEC, being one of the top institutions in the world to continue to produce great entrepreneurs. I'd like to see these entrepreneurs also being active alumni and active in the foundation of HEC to really continue to fund the research, continue to fund all our programs. I think this is really important. I'm very glad this is in the UK because I think European tech is a bit siloed, and I think it's really important to think about scaling beyond, specific countries. And last but not least, 99% of entrepreneurs that are going to fundraise get rejected. So I think tonight it's about making it a crash course, having proper discussions on how fundable are these businesses, and yeah, a little bit going beyond the surface and a little bit beyond the bullshit filter, if you excuse.
Interesting. Thank you, Nathalie. Simon, would you like to tell us what do you expect, or what is a good pitch?
Yes, it's working. Yeah. Well, a good pitch is difficult to define. It's a bit like God or love. When you meet it, you know it. But it's hard to preconceive. I'm so impressed just by the talent and the energy of these people. I think I was a student at the school 25 years ago, and I don't think I would have dared to do any of that, let alone going on stage. So I'm so impressed. I'm very curious to see these businesses. It's really going to be about the passion, the drive of the entrepreneurs to make it successful. And my main question to these people is, is this business something that has a potential to be 10 million, 100 million, $1 billion revenue business? And if not, why bother?
Thank you. And Emma, you were with us 2 years ago when we were online. So what are you looking forward to tonight?
Well, thank you very much for having me back, and it's awesome to be here in person. So I'm really honored to be here. In 2021, I was so impressed by the variety of the sort of different problems that the pitches were looking to solve. And I think we can see that we've already got a really exciting night ahead of us, listening to the teams again this year. I think I'd echo the comments made by Nathalie and Simon. It's a clarity of vision around the problem that these teams are looking to solve, and their commitment and passion to overcoming all the obstacles that are going to stand in their way between now and hopefully them building the most scalable, fantastic company. And also a self-awareness, because you always need to understand what you don't know and where you're going to look for help.
Thank you. What a program. Okay, so with all of this, maybe Alexandre, do you have a few words of support for our students?
Well, sure. I mean, I was about to give also a little bit of a recommendation and an encouragement, but I was once in your shoes, graduated from HEC about 10 years ago. It was a really a formative and rewarding experience, but a couple of pieces of advice is aside from a great education, it was also the opportunity to create a lifelong network, which has proven incredibly valuable throughout my career. So I guess the takeaway is although you should focus on learning, build strong relationships. They can be as valuable, if not more. Your peers will grow into exciting roles and sometimes be your best source of advice. Second, I'd say is take risks, ask questions, learn from your failures, step out of your comfort zone. I used to work for Richard Branson, left that role to go and launch a VC fund in the US. I lost my cornerstone investor before we finalized the raise, came back to Europe ashamed, thought I had failed, but actually this is what gave me the tools to step into my current role. I'm head of ventures at XTX, really a successful electronic trading firm, and I'm overseeing their strategy. Then I'd say have fun, have a good time. If you do something you're passionate about, you'll be much better at it. I'm not saying you shouldn't create some solid foundations, which will give you credibility, but ultimately you most likely will end up shifting towards the sector or industry you're most passionate about. So yeah, I'll end this by saying you'll be much happier if you do business for good and with a purpose. You're now part of a community of innovators and change makers, so make the most of this experience.
Thank you, Alexandre. So I think we're going to start. So I hope the students, you have fun. And we're starting, so the floor is yours.
Hello, I'm Olivia and this is Gabrielle, and that there is my sister. She's 23, she's a very talented actress, soon to be famous, and that is her bathroom. She's broke at the moment, and she cannot afford to put 30 euros a month on her skincare routine. And to be honest, neither can I. I'm an entrepreneur, and I know that many people in the room are in the same situation.
Let me introduce you to Stefan. Stefan is a general manager at a big company that we talk with, and he has pressure from the C-level above him to do two things. First of all, bring new customers, especially the young clientele. But Stefan is 45 and does not understand TikTok, so it's a little bit complicated. Second of all, he has to reduce waste and preserve brand equity. But even if when he tries, he has 5% unsold valid product left at the end of the year, and he doesn't know what to do with it, because he's not satisfied with the physical destocking options that he has in front of him, but also on the online one. But today, Stefan prefers to destroy these products than put it on this platform. And in France now, with the HEC law, it's not possible to do so. So we have to find a solution. And there are many Stefans in the world, because I worked for 1 year for a big cosmetic brand. And I was shocked by the fact that we talked about destruction every day, and there were no clear solution to solve it.
So we believe with Gabrielle that we can take Stefan's problem and transform it into an opportunity to meet Ines and all the other Ineses out there. When we talk about valid products, it's 7 out of 10 of all unsold products out there that could be used before the best before date if they were given a chance.
And there are many Stefans out there because we talk to them, and that's why we want to focus on these 3 categories of brand, because they have a large production, so many unsold valid products. Their brand image is key, and today they prefer to destroy the products.
This is why, with Gabrielle, we're building Intact, a private sales platform of a new kind. So we buy the stock from the brands, sell it to a younger clientele at a discount, and we preserve the brand DNA. And we believe with Gabrielle that no waste, can be premium.
So there are 3 major assets for the brand. First of all, the DNA is fully respected because we are the only premium and luxury pure player on the market. Also a strong acquisition channel because it builds loyalty among future customers that will buy full price in some years, and a strong sustainable initiative to avoid destruction. So the brands get total control over the image. They can choose on the interface which are the assets they want to see on the homepage, but also with which brand they're going to appear on the homepage. Finally, it is a major issue for brands, especially premium and luxury one, for the discount. They do not want to have a visible discount. That's why we created the anti-waste price in order to solve that problem, and so it's not an issue for the brand image. And we also have a full transparency over the product history and why it is on the platform. So how does it work concretely? Once we sign up a brand, the stock remains in the warehouse of the brand. We purchase this stock at a transfer price once the sale is done on our platform. And finally, the brand delivers the product directly to the consumer in 2 or 3 days. After, it takes place in a flash sale on our platform. We bring traffic while working on promotional code on the parent brand website, and finally working on paid reports at the end.
We aim at a 30% discount per product, at transfer price negotiated around 20% of the initial value of the product, which gives us a 71% gross margin in average. So 20% of all beauty consumers consume prestige brands. At Intact, we're going to sell prestige beauty products at the same price as some of the mass market products. So we transform the mass market clientele into prestige clientele. So for brands, that means more market share and new clients. This is our go-to-market. We have a very clear plan because we know that acquisition is key in our business. For now, we're concentrating on our POC in May. So basically bootstrap growth based on Instagram and our own circles.
These are brands we talk with and that are interested in the project just before.
Some forecasts, but here what is important to understand is that because we buy the stock after the sale, we won't have a working capital issue, which allows us to launch quite rapidly. This is our differentiation, so we are the only beauty pure player that has the brand image preservation as a value proposition to the brands. And so we are in March, we already have a first MVP, and our aim is to become the French leader of anti-waste beauty in 2024.
And because we're a little bit like Ines, we created Intact. So Olivier is more on the business and development, and I'm more on the product and marketing. And if you want, like us, for Stefan and Ines to become best friends, vote for us.
So thank you. That was a brilliant presentation, high energy and a real clarity of vision. I think our main question from us, although the others might want to jump in, is first and foremost, just more conviction on why brands would want to work with you. That point about preserving that brand equity from their perspective. And secondly, assuming they did, what would the barriers to entry be for other people not seeing this opportunity?
Just to understand, what's your first question is to understand why brands would work with us if they want to preserve their brand equity.
Yes.
Well, because the issue on unsold products in France is clear now that there's the HEC law, so they need to find a solution to be able to destock their products. Charity are overloaded because they cannot take everything that brands are throwing at them right now. On their own websites, doing destocking is an issue, although they still do it on other websites. And here we're talking about a different clientele. So there's no cannibalization of audience. And here creating a hub of, if you have many brands of the same standing in the same place, fighting for the same values of anti-waste, then there will be a virtuous circle, and the issue on the image is not an issue anymore.
Yeah, but can I be a bit more specific? Because I think one of the first things in a good pitch is to have a validation. So how did you validate these insights? How many brands did you talk to? Did you talk to Björk, Clarence?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you give us a bit more information?
Yeah, we talked to more than 60 brands. First of all, we talked with many mass market brands. After more premium and luxury, the idea was really to understand how every one of them had a different issue. And that's why we want to focus on premium and luxury, because these are the ones that have the most risk in terms of reputation. And so that's why we talked with them. And we talked with Dior and every brand on the market, just to clearly understand.
And to add on that, basically depending on where you find yourself in the market, there is a different type of problem. For example, bigger brands like Dior, Chanel are more interested into the green aspects of the proposition than smaller brands that here have a real problem into destocking the products fast. So it's a solution that kind of tackles the problems of different brands at different sizes in a different way, but it works for everyone.
Maybe quick question on the competitive landscape. You had that slide up at some point. Why wouldn't a VP or some of the other names around here do a version of that, either on their own website or as an adjacent business of theirs?
The thing with VP, for example, VP has a beauty section, but they're generalists. And today, because they do such volume, they cannot ensure brands that the universe in which they will be high quality, and they will be with brands that look like are the same as them. Same for showroom privé, same as the braderie as well, which is basically clothes and with a small beauty offering. So what we're doing here is really taking the brands and saying, with us, you can trust us. It's going to be your standards, and only with brands are like you.
Have you looked at regulation? Because these are also products that you have, strong that have chemicals, and you have a lot of regulations around product safety in Europe. So if these are products that are unsold, have you looked at the regulation side?
Yeah, of course. We only, in the unsold product, we only have end of series, change of packaging, maybe worse sellers sometimes. So there is no issue in terms of chemical inside the products. We don't sell products that are damaged, sorry. So there is no issue on that. The only issue that we want to focus on is that we have a product with a shelf life. So we want to make sure that when the client receives the product, the person has at least 3 or 4 months to use the product. That's the only really issue for the brands. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Just think for a second. How do you choose the brands you buy from? Well, if you're from the 60s, it might not be the same as if you're from the 90s, but it's okay. However, we are convinced that today customers expect transparency and strong values for brands. And brands always want to connect to their customers. So now they have to adapt to do so. This is our mission. We want to engage, and we want to help e-sellers engage their community through philanthropy. In fact, let's go back to our customers, because all this is even more important for Gen Z. When asked what are the main reasons that lead them to a purchase, being part of a community and buying from brands with meaningful commitments were top priorities. Now we understand why Patagonia is such a success. However, all brands are not Patagonia, and they often struggle to engage themselves and their community in an efficient way. First, because of a lack of clarity. In fact, as consumers, it's hard to differentiate between greenwashing and concrete commitments. And second, concrete commitments takes time, has costs, and requires specific logistics. However, other sectors have understood the need to commit themselves. Whether it be tech companies or large corporates, they've understood the need to put forward associative actions as part of their commitments. But for now, e-sellers lack the tools to do so.
That's why we created Hago, to be the third party allowing e-merchants to include their customers in their philanthropic efforts and have a real impact hand in hand. Right now, these three entities have no links. That's why we want to fill the gap and allow the brands to engage and align with their customers. How are we going to do so? Well, first, we want to bring transparency to these donations. We want to verify and validate that the money goes into the right hands, to the right projects, and to ensure that merchants can see and share their impact with their customers. Next, we also allow for simple management, with taking all the heavy work off the merchants and doing tax exemption. We're doing relationships and payments to charities, as well as data and backend, to be a real plug-and-play solution. Lastly, we want to bring economic viability to these donations. By having better customer engagement and better customer loyalty, we will bring churn down and increase AOV and conversion. But concretely, how does that work? Well, it's an extremely easy journey. The customer chooses the cause he cares about during checkout out of 4 charities pre-selected by the merchant. Then, the merchant will donate for him. It's never the user that pays the donation. Afterwards, the merchant will be able to engage with his community by sending follow-ups emails on their common engagement. We will also be able to push other committed brands to these users. This is an example and the use case of a percentage of basket module. Merchants will have other modules, but as you can see, it is a painless, good deed, but certainly not insignificant. So our markets and our targets are e-merchants in France, excluding marketplaces, that value CSR issues as priorities and have a turnover between 100K and 10 million. This is our sweet spot, and it's an 8 billion market. In this 8 billion market, we can distinguish 2 different types of customers. First, core committed digital brands. Second, more conventional brands that are willing to evolve, modernize, and engage their clients further by adapting to today's trends. Our business model is based on a subscription, growing with company size and functionalities, as well as a 10% addition on donations on volume of donations, never touching the donations themselves, of course. This model has made its proofs in the US, but our strength and differentiator will be to create a real community of committed customers and brands supporting our ecosystem of local charities.
Regarding the team, we've known each other for years and we really enjoy working together. We can always rely on Victor's optimism and Greg's creativity. We already have 5 brands which accepted to be pilot on Hago, and we start co-building the product with them. We are also in talk with more conventional players, and we started to build our ecosystem with incredible charities. Roadmap-wise, to finish, We will first start with our pilot brands before expanding to other brands, adding networks. Finally, we will onboard enterprise accounts before addressing Europe. Let's connect cause and commerce. Please vote for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, it's me starting again. Another fantastic presentation. You've really got good energy and connection between all three of you, so thank you. I think we'll go back to, which you just touched on quite quickly at the end, so just to dig in a bit more with that validation point that Natalie made, or the question that she asked of the previous team as well. So why does this solve the problem that you articulated at the beginning, that the brands really need to connect with their community and their consumers? I get that it's a good idea, but why does that really solve that particular problem for the brands?
Because today brands have understood that they need to put forward concrete actions. And sometimes they're really good at doing it with the workers, you know, doing some activities, for example. But it's kind of harder to do it with their customers. And it's so different to have just a label on the website, you know, saying, I'm doing this, I'm planting tree on other part of the world, and saying, let's do it together, you and me. I'll let you choose the cause you prefer, and I will do it. And after we will see how the project is going. So I think, yeah, it's a way to build their community by doing it hand in hand with their customers.
Can I ask you a question on the product itself? I think you should go faster into what is really your solution. You explained a lot, like some problems, but I think I didn't understand. Like, are you building a Shopify app? Are you, what is the product exactly? I saw it on the design, but what is it? And also, the more precise you are in what the product is, the more precise you will be on your market. Because on your market slide, you do like a top-down view of the market. But if you're building a Shopify app, you should do actually a bottom-up view of the market and understand how many Shopify merchants are there in France that are between this turnover. And actually, the more targeted you will be, the better will be your TAM, the better will be your funding needs and your understanding of your customers. So this is a bit of a general as well comment for everyone. Doing a bottom-up TAM is super important and being super precise. And within 1 minute, we need to understand what the product is.
I think the Shopify app will be only the MVP and the go-to-market, actually. The pilots that we already talked to are all on Shopify, and that's why we want to build only one project to be able to deploy it very fast in a lot of different shops in order to validate our hypothesis and have some first KPIs to be able to show them to the bigger accounts. I think we didn't spend too much time on the Shopify app, because we want to be way more than that. We want to really build our ecosystem. We want to have our own API that we could plug directly to some custom websites, and we also want to build other app and other CMS such as Magento, Salesforce, etc.
Okay, super. But that was not clear in the pitch. You need to go deeper.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah, maybe just some point around the revenue model, and also maybe going to what that means in terms of the addressable market, really, because if you think about that 1% of revenue, and I like the socialist idea that it doesn't cost anything because someone else is paying for it. In the end, the client is always paying for it. I don't think that these businesses that you are going to talk to that probably make 5 to 10% EBIT margin, they're going to let go 1% of their revenue, so call it 10% of their margin sort of unaffected, and as much as they love saving the planet. So really understanding the propensity of that happening compared to what already exists, which is a top-up, which we see on pretty much every app, every taxi app and whatnot, which is basically achieving a similar outcome, because my premise is the customer always pays in the end, and how you get paid. And the last comment is vetting charities is a ton of work. It's shit work. It's a lot of compliance. It's a lot of vetting. It's a lot of legal risk as well. So I think that's something that you need to be very, very mindful of as well.
Yes, of course, but it's also why we have to do it for our customers, because you might think it's easy for them to do it alone, to have like contact with several charities, but we will be the guarantee of this, and we will have our ecosystem. We don't want to start with 50 charities at first. We want to pick them rightly, one for each topic, to know them, to be able to have strong relations with them, and this will be our main strength and our differentiation. So it will be difficult, but it will be our asset.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hugo. And for the last 2 years, I've been looking for the best startup idea to launch, which would have the biggest environmental impact. I've been looking into pretty crazy stuff, such as electrifying highways, for instance. But then I came to realize that changing the world could start with much simpler things. And that's actually Jules that made me realize this, when he came to me with a striking figure, 3.6.
Indeed. Every year, 3.6 million tons of professional equipment are discarded, including 300,000 tons of office equipment.
But how did we end up with so much waste?
I don't know.
Well, I know. And now I have an answer. Is that every time a company wants to move out of its old office, or yes, the old office equipment is the least of the worries of the office manager. Because they don't like throwing away, they first try reselling it, either directly or to a refurbisher. But after a few days, they come to realize that they're talking with way too many people. And as they run out of time, they give up. And they end up throwing everything away. No, wait, worst. They end up paying to throw everything away. Paying to throw away equipment that is still functional and that could be resold to brokers or refurbishers for a value of 1.5 billion euros just in France.
So in order to give back this value to companies and make office managers save time, we decided to create HEC, the turnkey solution to get rid of all your old office equipment with zero waste. A solution that maximizes reuse, optimizes the office manager experience, and shares the value transparently with the company. So concretely, how does it work? When a company wants to work with HEC, the office managers just have to fill up a form, then a HEC expert goes on field, make an estimate, and in a single stop, logistician will have cleared the office.
And this is made possible because we pre-sell everything thanks to our tech solution. So that when we come on site to pick everything up, we already know where each and every item is going. This pre-sale process starts with a flash sale process towards the B2B community. This allows us to maximize the value that we're getting out of the equipment, since we typically sell to them for about 50% of the value of the same item new. Right after, we push the remaining offers to our partners, brokers, refurbishers, who buy for about 30% of the value of the new. And at last, to make sure that nothing that does not need to be thrown away is wasted, we work with charities and discount shops. And we either give them or sell them for about 10% of the value. In short, HEC is a solution with zero stock and zero waste.
So yes, we're creating value, but not only for us. We want to share this value with companies. Why? Because we think that companies should be paid to give a second life to their old office equipment. That's why with HEC, companies are getting back 35% of the equipment sale. At the end, they're only paying for logistics. We have attractive price, but we also want to be the simplest and most efficient solution. We designed HEC taking into account those three pillars, making it today the best solution on the market.
And the first ones to be able to benefit of this new product are the SMEs in the Paris area, because they are the one with no satisfying solution today. To reach out to them, we are currently using two types of acquisition channels. First one, direct sales. Because we've come to realize during our interviews that office manager shares such a strong sense of community. Whenever one of them has a question, he just asks it to one of his colleagues. Either it is on Slack, on a Facebook group, or a direct call. We want, and we are working on leveraging this community in order to create a strong network effect. And at the same time, to scale our sales process, we are working with people who are involved on multiple projects each year so that we create a recurring revenue.
Today, the market is reacting very well to this new value proposition. We have already signed contract and are now talking with interior designer and co-working space to go to the next level. Last week, we have signed our first proof of concept with the French scale-up Morning, designing hundreds of offices each year. And to match this growing demand, we need to rely on a strong tool, a tool that will ensure operational efficiency to provide the best user experience. That's why in September 2023, we raised our first pre-seed round for tech recruitment and tool development.
This is Jules, I'm Hugo, and if you too, you are tired of paying to throw away equipment, next time it's about to happen, just give us a call, and we'll give you your money back. Thank you. Oh, but for us.
Thanks, great presentation, and I can definitely see the value in this. Probably one question I'd ask is, you mentioned that you would get rid of the equipment within 7 days for companies, is that right?
Not in the pitch, I guess, but in the video previously.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And I guess I was curious about how you were aiming to achieve that without inventories is probably one of the key questions I had.
Sorry, without inventories?
Yes, that's right. So it means you have 7 days. So you're guaranteeing the person with the furniture that you'll find a buyer within 7 days. Is that right?
Yeah. So actually, we're able to operate in 7 days. We already did it with the last contract. The thing is, the less time you have, the less value you are able to get from the equipment. That's also why we just didn't put it on the slides. Sometimes companies have like a month, 2 months. We're able to get more value from the furnitures, but then when they have only 2 days, we have refurbishers, discount shops that will accept all those furnitures, but for a lower price.
Can I ask a question about barriers to entry? I mean, as you say, this is a marketplace, right? The offices are there who need to get rid of it, and there are people there who you're just sitting in the middle. So what's going to stop anyone else coming to take that away from you once you get it set up?
Thank you for the question. So the first thing is our barrier network, meaning that for the past few years, there were not that many people on the market. Now it's the best time to market. We're arriving now, fast, and we will be able to create a network effect. So we think that the barrier at the entry will be mainly this network effect.
Maybe basic question, how do you get paid? And what's your cut of the whole thing?
So how do we get paid? This is basically the inverted equation of our business model. What we get is 65% of the price that we sell the equipment. This represents, looking at our margins, around 30% for the SMBs, around 30% of contribution margin. Does it answer your question?
So how much do you want to raise? Because do you think you could bootstrap the business to get it started since you have 30% margin and you already have contracts?
So actually this relates to the past question. Of course, we could bootstrap this new value proposition and the startup. The thing is, if we're not going as fast as possible, probably someone will come on the market and will have this kind of a network effect before us. And so on the amount, today we are trying to collect metrics by doing things, but we are more thinking of 500K for our pre-seed rounds, taking into account the BPI and stuff.
And do you have like an existing player globally that is doing something similar?
There is no existing player doing it globally. What there is in France are refurbishers that are doing this on a specific basis. And for instance, they are buying only the chairs. They are buying only like 5% of 10% of everything that the company wants to get rid of. So that's why this becomes a nightmare for the company that wants to revalue stuff.
Do you guarantee the price to a client of what you're buying, or do you work out from your margin first?
Can you repeat, sorry?
I mean, when you go see a client, do you guarantee a price for the equipment, or do you work it out at the end of a process?
We actually send the offer after that we have already pre-sold the equipment.
Have you looked at models like Emmaüs and understanding like how they're turning furniture into donations? Because that's comparable, like, I guess, for picking up older furniture.
Yeah. So the problem today is that some people are already picking things in the office, but they're only interested for buy one chair or one desk because they have a lot of value, and the rest of the thing are just becoming waste. This is also the thing for Emmaüs. So yes, for an operational point of view, we had a look at how Emmaüs were doing, but for revalorization, we think that it's better to work with a lot of people that are interested in different type of furniture.
I guess some type of furnitures then have kind of negative value when you account for logistics, destruction. That's probably why people have to pay to pick things up. So I guess maybe you'll have to focus on certain areas or types of furniture as well, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Fleur, and today with Christian, we want to play a little game with you. What is it? A girl, beautiful girl, maybe a promotion of a t-shirt? It's actually a lot of work. Here, the hairdresser, the makeup, the styling items, all these little retouches you see here. And this has a huge cost, $20 billion worldwide. So yes, shooting photo is a highly inefficient process for brands. First, it is very expensive. You just take the cost of a model, 1,500 euro for a day of work. Then, it's also, it increases the time to market for brands, which has a huge impact of their revenues. Because you could take the best photographer in the world, he couldn't shoot more than 120 photos in a day. And finally, it's very rigid and painful also to plan it. 2 to 3 weeks in advance, and on the D-Day, the model doesn't show up just because she's hangover from last night. And this is a true story. So there's a lot of time, energy, and cost lost here. So imagine we could have fashion photography without photo shooting.
So that's exactly what we offer brands. We offer them an alternative. To be able to generate an endless variety of on-model images at a fraction of the cost in a single moment. We only use a packshot photo or ghost photo, and then we generate our images. So let's continue the small game we started with Fleur. Which photo here do you think is real? It's hard to say, right? The one on the left, on the right, and here with different poses on the same model, and here with different garments, and we can do that at scale. We do this with our AI that we've been working on for a year, and it's going to become the state of the art when we publish our scientific paper in a few months. And what we offer brands actually is a web app, very concretely, where they can upload their garments, choose from a catalog of models, and then instantly enjoy the results. We have identified like 3 customer profiles. First, multi-brand online retailers like Zalando, Boo, Farfetch. Then B2B brands who sell directly on these multi-brand online retailers like French Paris, who have to shoot 3, 4, 5 times the same garments for every platform. And finally, traditional retailers like Lacoste, Promode, Patagonia, etc., who shoot millions of articles every year. We have already reached advanced discussions with many brands, especially Spartoo and its CEO Boris Saragliaga, MVP, which we're going to sign in a few weeks. Also, others have shown very strong signs of interest, like Promode, Lacoste, and French Paris.
So here, the cost I was talking about is actually a huge opportunity. We're here talking about the global e-fashion market, $800 billion worldwide. And we have discussed with many brands and discovered that approximately 2% of their revenues goes to that photo shoot cost. And this is a low estimation. So here, we want to target an $11 billion while focusing on fashion marketplaces. And actually, it's happening now. Because before, there is indeed a symmetry of startups that never could reach their promises. But now, we have emerging competitors, and the most advanced one was just being acquired by Walmart and Farfetch.
What about our business model? So basically, it's going to be a SaaS model with a pricing which is going to be pay by use according to the number of generated images, and it's going to be value-based. And to reach this very ambitious goal, we have a very strong team. Flore, with a business background from HEC, she has worked 1 year at Doctolib. She's an expert at sales. I myself am a graduate from Polytechnique. I've been working and doing machine learning research for a year, specifically on the subject with Tristan, who's also from Polytechnique, actually writing his thesis now at Télécom Paris on the subject. So if you also thought that all the images on this presentation were real, please vote for Vuitton.
So I might start here. So I guess the technology you're using is generative AI, or some version of it, right? So I guess my question is, how do you create a competitive advantage by using a technology everyone has access to, and that evolves at a speed you can't really control? I think just yesterday, ChatGPT-4 and Claude from Anthropic were released. ChatGPT-4 can describe pictures, can transform them, and with a single parameter now, you can just adjust it for a specific industry. This technology has been existing for a year. Who tells you where it's going to be in 6 months from now?
Yeah, of course, very good question. I think that it's not going to be part of the natural development of AI. Somebody really has to look into this very specific niche of this very specific domain in computer vision in generative AI to achieve such result. It's not a general task in computer vision, so I don't think it would be reached like normally with these technologies, like maybe stable diffusion and other type of things.
So you're saying that I assume that the work that you've been also doing over the past year to adjust this product won't be made obsolete by updates of generative AI.
Exactly, yes, because it's a combination of multiple very specific subtasks and very different subdomains in computer vision, and yes, it won't become obsolete.
Okay, thank you.
So are you willing to write scientific papers or build and launch this company ASAP?
For that,
I think this is a really interesting product, and actually, yeah, there are not so many players that are doing this well right now. So I'm just essentially, my question is a bit of a question: what are you waiting for?
Okay. So actually, it's a very good question because it's a mix of both. Like what we showed you is almost a viable product, and this is something we are trying to sell right now to Spartoo and VP first, and we want to see if we can make some revenue out of it. But this is like the thin layer, and we are just at the beginning. And Tristan is mostly working on the really research part, and we think we are going to reach the next level in September. For now, what we can do is middle quality, what we show you, on top. And in September, it's going to be high quality, and almost instantly we will be able to do all type of garment.
To be more specific, the quality that brands want to display on their website, where you can zoom in and see the exact details of the garments.
How much is computing access a key element of your business need?
What do you mean, computing access?
In terms of access to your computing capability to power your service.
Yeah, of course, it's key. It's basically the most important thing.
And so, what's the cost or capital requirement element related to that?
So far we have the chance to have access to telecom and polytechnique. So it's a pretty huge computer calculation and for free. And that's why we actually want to raise a pre-seed round after September, because we will have access to this until December. And then we want to have our own computer calculation capacity.
Actually, now we can do the trainings on these servers provided by Telecom and Telecom and Polytechnique, but we can't run or deploy constantly models on them that can run for customers. So,
does your model need to be retrained for each garment?
Our model is garment agnostic. So basically, it works well on tops, but it can work if we have the data. Tomorrow it can work not tomorrow, and in 1 week maybe it can work on pants.
Okay.
But it's agnostic.
Once the model is trained, I guess you don't need the GPU resources anymore.
Yeah, we don't. Maybe if we do, we don't need it to do the direct inference, but maybe to maybe do some refinements after that.
And do you require the garments to be in a specific format, or is it just a picture?
Ghost back shots mostly.
Hello. Hi. How's everyone doing? So, my name is Scott Willis, and I will be presenting our startup Tete-a-Tete, Feel the Power of Groups for Less. Turn to your left and turn to your right. 1 in 3 of you will need support for your mental health this year. And we have a solution for this, and it's called therapy. But the problem is, therapy is too expensive. The reason for this is there's a massive increase in demand for mental health support, and the burden is falling on the shoulders of experienced therapists that are already overbooked with too many patients. Meanwhile, we have a massive supply of young therapists with 0 to 5 years experience that struggle to find patients. Why is this? Well, it turns out young therapists are undervalued. They face 2 major barriers on their way to becoming an independent, experienced therapist. They work for institutions for long hours and low pay, just to build up a network of patients. And then they have to go through supervision, which is mandatory for psychologists, and it's very expensive at 100 euros an hour, and it's essentially coaching for them to improve. So, Tete-a-Tete helps these young therapists to improve their careers with more patients and more coaching for our online group therapy platform. How does this work? Well, we use a scientifically backed onboarding process to match new patients into groups of 8 members around a specific topic, and then we pair up therapists with this group, 1 young therapist and 1 experienced therapist, And then we run an online video call for 90 minutes every week for every group. We want to value young therapists as we bring down the price of therapy. This means that patients seeking therapy on our platform with tête-à-tête benefit from affordable support at 1/3 of the cost with the same efficacy as individual one-to-one therapy. Young therapists stand to gain more patients with online groups as they are accompanied with an experienced supervisor, and experienced therapists gain because they make a lot of money mentoring. It's a win-win-win situation. So, why aren't more people doing this? Well, it turns out we price ourselves at 25 euros a session. As you can see, this is much more affordable than individual therapy with doctorly and BetterHelp. And we do have competitors in the space based in the US and Israel, but they don't use licensed psychologists. They use counselors and mental health support workers that aren't as qualified to run these groups. We provide mentoring for therapists because they're the life and blood of our platform, and we provide French-speaking therapy. We want to disrupt the market for online therapy. By bringing down the cost, we can attack a lot more people in the population in this already rapidly growing sector at 27% CAGR, which is already valued at 6.7 billion. This is only set to grow way, way bigger. So our business model is a patient subscription model. 25 euros per session per week is paid by patients. We have a minimum 3-month commitment. This means that one group of 8 members brings in a revenue of 800 euros a month. We pay 440 euros towards therapists, and this gives us an LTV to CAC of 4.3 to 1. In terms of our financial planning, we plan to hit 5 groups on this platform by June, growing to 25 at the end of the year, as we prepare to raise VC fundraising in 2024 with 110 people. We've already started onboarding therapists. We have young therapists that are ready on the platform, 6 of them. We have 3 experienced supervisors already to go. And we've partnered up with La Maison Perchet, who already has a 100-person waiting list that are waiting for us to help. Thank you very much. Scan a QR code, fill the power groups for less, and please vote for us.
Thank you very much for addressing what is a very, very important issue. Question for you. I understand exactly the problem and how you're trying to solve it. It's why are the experienced therapists engaging? I mean, they are busy. They can charge a lot for their time already. How are you getting them to connect with this proposition?
Yeah, I can answer that. So we talked to a lot of the experienced therapists, and they do these supervision sessions already. And what they like about them is, 1, they charge high hourly rates. And 2, it's more about diversifying what they do on a daily basis, right? So providing therapy for individual clients is one thing, but also looking at cases from other therapists is interesting, and having kind of a feedback and the rewarding process of teaching is all a part of it. So it's not only the monetary value, but also just the experiential value of mentoring.
And just another really important point is that it's mandatory for psychologists to do supervision during their career. So this is something that we're working towards getting accreditation for.
How big are these other companies that you showed us, like the Israeli one, the US ones? I understand this is a slightly different model, but how big are they? What traction are they getting?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So basically, Grouport, I believe, has 580 groups. And so every group is around 10 members. So they're already hitting around 5,000 users in the US, and they're growing. But the difference between us and these other companies is that we're essentially providing a gig economy for psychologists. These other groups are essentially recruiting the therapists full-time or counselors full-time onto their platform, whereas we're taking more of an approach like Dr. Lieb, where independent therapists can come and book a slot and run 1, 5, 10 groups as much as they would like and still maintain their practice outside.
In addition, both of those companies, Grouport and Circles, are they're startups, and I believe, don't quote me on this, Circles raised 17 million in their, was it seed or Series A, and Grouport 6 million. So.
And are you looking to partner with Dr. Lieb, for example?
We would like to get bought by them.
Right now, what we do actually as part of our sales cycle is to go on to Dr. Lieb and look at patients that are currently being underbooked. We just see who's open for the next 3 days, and we just call them up and yeah,
offer
have a chat.
A better service.
And we surprise. It works really good, like cold calling. They don't have any like booking for the next days. So we just call them like, are you free tomorrow? Yes. And we have a rendezvous.
How do you define an experienced therapist? Is it self-defined? Is this also regulated? Questions, I guess.
No, it's a great question. I mean, I think in the beginning, we have to talk to therapists and see. Usually, like, it takes about 10 years to be really an experienced therapist. It's a matter of time. Of course, we can look on to Dr. Lieb and see what kind of reviews they have, what kind of patients they have, talk to their patients. But right now, it's an individual process.
Pre-vetting them, basically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so what we're trying to do is also, operationalize things and make things more automated and efficient. So we started with operationalizing the onboarding process through this group therapy questionnaire, and doing feature vectors to kind of cluster patients together and stuff. But the next part would be operationalizing the matching of therapists with each other, as well as doing, our own quality assurance and stuff.
Maybe the last question is do you expect people to open up in large groups? Do you think maybe that might be detrimental to the confidence?
Yeah, I mean, something we're exploring is having the group therapy model be in addition to an individual therapy model. So right now, to start, we're just doing group therapy once a week. But I think in the future, it might be a group therapy session, then an individual therapy session, a group therapy session, so that, you get all the benefits.
They're very complementary. Thank you so much for your time.
Fresh food is the future. I'm Matteo, co-founder of IDA. We build supply chain products that are specialized for all the nuances of fresh. When I talk about fresh, I'm talking about all the things you can find on the perimeter of a grocery store. Fruits, veggies, meat, dairy, fish, bakery. It really differentiates a real-world grocer from the online competition. And on a macro level perspective, it's basically what consumers want and the main driver of the European $1 trillion grocery market. And we have a special relationship with this market. As a student, you're supposed to hang out in bars or clubs. We are part of a generation that's been hit hard by COVID, whose only way out was going to supermarket. And that's what we saw. Empty shelves. Going through this together, We spent months on the field trying to understand how grocers order their fresh products. And we came to a very important conclusion, that all the ordering technology was built for the non-fresh food. Apples don't grow in boxes with barcodes, right? So why use a technology that treats them like they do? Current technology actually breaks down when facing the inherent complexity of fresh, be it perishability, short shelf life, not having a barcode, being sold by weight. So what happens in every supermarket nearby? You have John, produce manager, taking out his pen and paper to manually calculate his stocks and estimating his demand based on gut feeling. It takes him 3 hours per day, every day, and halves their profit margins. Because if John overorders, he throws food away. And every year, European retailers throw 120 billion euros of food waste. Or John underorders and misses more than 10% of revenues due to stockouts. What's even more shocking is that this awful shrink itself emits 6 times more CO2 than the whole airline industry. We've been hanging out together for more than 5 years already, and not only in supermarkets, because Mathieu comes out of 3 years of research on time series forecasting, making him the perfect CTO for the job. And I know for sure that Alex is an absolute rock star in delivering awesome tech products to frontline teams.
Speaking of the product, we have a simple statement that fresh food is the future, yet in Europe, there is no technology for fresh food. So we made one. We built our first replenishment tool for fresh products to help retailer place a profit-maximizing, waste-minimizing order for each item of their store. With the emergence of cutting AI technology such as transformers, we managed to predict sales and stocks 10 times more accurately than the current process. And retailers love it. We already signed pilot stores among 5 entities with promising results. We managed to reduce their food waste by 1/3, increasing their top-line revenue by 3%, and we make them spare more than 1,000 hours per manager per year. But let's take our typical portfolio store. 1.3 million in produce revenue, 5 employees per produce team. We estimate that we create a value of 70k euros per year. And we designed a SaaS subscription model out of that, making it a huge, bottom-up, total addressable market of 20.2 billion euros in recurring revenue. But grocery retail is only the beginning. It will help us target distribution centers, wholesalers, dark stores, and even more. We'll go beyond than just helping the store near you. But for now, we have a massive inbound demand to be addressed from grocery retailers. We are participating in requests for proposal for some of the most famous retailers in France. And we also have some demand from independent stores, making it a huge ARR potential. We defined strategic milestones that will bring us to raise funds in the next 2 quarters. And I'll finish with that statement. The survival of food businesses will depend on fresh. We're chasing a huge opportunity of becoming the one-stop shop solution for them, as we are the new way to win in fresh. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, maybe a question so on your business model. Because it is true that fresh food, I think sales have increased a lot during COVID, and still, you know, I've managed to actually stay pretty high. So I think that's a well-spotted trend. But so how much do you intend to sell your software for? What is your business model? Because obviously you're targeting the big supermarket chains, but you also have like a huge universe of smaller stores. So what's your go-to-market and model?
So basically, there are like 2 main types of retailers in France, which is our go-to-market at the moment. The so-called intégrés, which are like you deal with the big group and you have all the stores. We're currently on request for proposal on one of them, and basically we call them and they said, right, it's been 6 months that we've been looking at such a solution, so let's talk, which was pretty cool. And there is a second one, which are independent stores. And in France, there is 15,000 independent stores, such as Système U, Leclerc, Intermarché, and so on. And with those, we aim at connecting with the IT, because once you're connected with the IT, you can target every store and have a sales process of like less than a month, which is amazing for us.
And you didn't say how much you're selling, like what's your business model?
I can take that one. Concerning the business model and the way we do our pricing, we take a look at 3 KPIs. The first one is revenue increase, as we mentioned. The second one is soft cost saving. Soft cost saving meaning the efficiency saving, right? And concerning the hard cost saving, it's just the shrink reduction brought by our AI models to optimize orders and stocks.
We define our pricing based on the revenue they made on produce, because our first module is on produce. So basically on 1.3 million of revenue, we bring them 70K per year per store, taking out 10K out of it.
How far are you in terms of your product development? You mentioned the software, the data and all that. How much of it does really exist already?
Yes, so we already have an app that is running and that is live. Also, the machine learning part has been developed. We have an MVP running in a few stores, and we hope to develop a bit more the machine learning part in next years.
Maybe a quick complement on that. We have like a sales roadmap based on 3 main points. The first one is an easy show, because we take the historical data, we work on it like for a week, and we come back saying, all right, with our models, we can save like, let's say 50K per store per year. Second one is live show, which we're currently doing at the moment. So based on extract, a daily extract, our app is actually running. And the third one, as I was mentioning before, is the full IT integration, because once you receive extract, you can then integrate into the whole IT system of the retailer, which takes longer time, but creates therefore barriers to entry, which is really interesting for us.
How much integration do you have so far? Do you integrate with the supplier, or is this kind of some manual inputs from the retailer, from the end retailer?
So actually, we don't need to connect to the backend of the retailers. We don't need we only need daily extraction. It is easily automatically scalable. We just run a Python script on their backend, and it's done.
And what is their backend? So especially if you're talking about maybe smaller grocery shops, or are you now kind of referring to the larger supermarkets?
Okay, maybe I can go into detail. Like there are like 2 types of retailers for that. There are like retailers that are under like external ERP, for instance SAP. So we automatically connect to them with partnerships, for instance, saying that we're going to bring them value. And for instance, the ERP of Biocop, there are like 3 ERPs, and we connected to 2 of them. And the second one is internal solution, such as with Leclerc or Système U, and those you need to connect with them, but there is like only one software to connect for the like maybe thousands of stores.
In terms of sales process, those stores, the latter, are really interesting, because once you're connected and once you have the IT process going on, then your sales cycles become much shorter, making it like less risky and bringing more value creation for the company. So yeah, it's important for us.
And what you're saying is that the dry goods are still managed by SAP, or so you're like an add-on on top of the existing system that manages fresh food better?
So basically, and quick one on that, they have like an ordering system which is like really manual. So it's like an Excel sheet, and they put everything by hand. So it's SAP that does that, but it's not specialized in fresh. And what we build is, we call that SAP system, but just at the end of the funnel, just saying, we made the order on our app, then Mathieu sent them an FTP file that they're interpreting. And that's not our problem, because we currently replacing the whole system, but they don't have any software at the moment, so we're creating one at some point.
Wow. So, what are you all thinking? And maybe a few questions for our jury. So, of course, don't tell us anything yet, because we're going to go and deliberate in the room over there together. But just maybe a quick reaction. Maybe Nathalie, as our president, do you have any quick reaction for us?
Yeah, I think I'm actually, I love it to see, you know, all these ideas and how they're presented, and this is fun. And I like the team spirit as well that I can see between the groups, and, you know, how they think and they work. Clearly, I want to see more customer focus. I want to see more, you know, time spent on how much are we selling this for, and really like validating with the customers, because this is, at the end of the day, this is how you get a great product going. So that's my first impression.
Thank you, Simon. Guillaume, who's the director of the program. That's, you know, still more work for the startup. Yeah, Simon.
Yeah, no, very impressive. I'm shocked how virtuous they are. So I'm expecting to see the capitalist emerge, and really the focus on making money. I think that's interesting.
Thank you, Emma.
It's thank you very much to everyone. It's so brave to come up and present, and you all did a fabulous job. I think it's just reason for optimism, quite frankly, about the future that we have in front of us when you see groups like this. So thank you all very much.
So thank you. So as a reminder, you can still all vote. So please vote online. If you are watching us online, please also vote. Again, the link for the vote is in the comments on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So now I'm going to ask the jury to walk with me for a few minutes, and we'll come back very soon.
Hello, my name is Gabrielle, and I'm the co-founder of Intact.
Hello, I'm Olivia. I'm also the co-founder of Intact.
Today, in average, 3% of beauty brands' turnover are unsold valid products, which often end in the bin.
68% of these unsold products are still valid and could have been used before their due date, but no one gave them a chance.
If the problem still exists, it is because beauty brands today are not satisfied with the destocking options that they have in front of them, because it impacts directly their brand image. You can see it here or here.
And it gets even more critical when it comes to premium and luxury brands.
In 2023, with Olivia, we believe that we can do something with these products, and that no waste can also be premium.
And this is why together we are building Intact, which is a platform that gives a second life to the unsold products of premium and luxury brands.
With Intact, customers have access to high-quality products at a lower price while having a responsible consumption.
We 100% commit to preserve the brand's DNA while providing access to a customer base that has not yet entered the brand's universe.
We believe that no waste can be premium,
and that all products deserve to find their users.
We've all shopped online, right? Well, almost all. Last year, 42 million French people shopped on the internet. But e-commerce's growth has been controversial, with an evident need to change our consumption behavior. And that's even more important for Gen Z. That's us. Thus, as much as 81% of merchants consider CSR issues as priority.
However, businesses struggle to engage themselves and the client because of fear of greenwashing, because it's technically a hassle, and because today it's no longer a differentiator to be recyclable. That's why we created Haggle, to allow e-merchants to have concrete commitment toward charities, but make them hand in hand with their customers.
But how? First, the client will pick the charity he wants to support during checkout out of the merchant selection. Then the merchant will donate.
Not the client.
The brand can now engage further its community, increase the loyalty, and its bottom line.
Our vision is to build a B2C product connecting committed brands and customers to support local charities.
Finally, giving purpose back to e-commerce.
This is Mark. He's an office manager. He loves the design of his offices. Chairs, furniture, couch, wow. And he just can't wait for the next office relocation to throw everything away.
Wait, what? Throw everything away? Doesn't make sense, right? And still,
The vast majority of office managers end up throwing away all the old office equipment, resulting in 300,000 tons of waste each year. That's why we created Redesk, the new superhero, saving the old office equipment from the trash. Redesk offers a turnkey solution to get rid of the old office equipment with zero waste. We make revaluing easier, faster, and cheaper than throwing away, while sharing with the company the value recovered from the old office equipment. Doubtful about how this could work? We'll give you all the details in a few minutes.
What if brands could generate stunning fashion photography at scale without breaking the bank? Hi, I'm Flor, co-founder of Vitan, and that's what we do.
Fashion photography is no longer an option. Brands must present high-quality imagery that will increase conversion rates, convey their brand image, and highlight their garments.
Yet, fashion photography is a hassle. There's too many people and processes involved here. Photographer, models, hairdresser, makeup artists, all this in a studio. It's a lot of time, energy, and cost lost. So imagine you could have fashion photography without photo shooting.
We offer brands an alternative. We generate an endless variety of on-model images at a fraction of the cost in a single moment. We do this with our AI that we've been working on for a year with a world-class researcher in generative AI.
So join us to see how Vitan is transforming fashion photography.
Hello, and my name is Scott Willis. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Tete-a-Tete.
And I'm Julian, I'm the CTO and co-founder.
So here at Tete-a-Tete, we help young therapists accelerate their careers with more patients and more coaching through our online group therapy platform.
Scott and I met about a year ago, and we started talking about mental health issues being on the rise. And we wanted to tackle the issue and talk to therapists and see what's going on. We found that there's a bunch of young therapists that are being undervalued. And so we created Tete-a-Tete to pair them up with more experienced therapists and provide them more supervision and clients through group therapy.
And so in terms of partnerships, we've already onboarded 10 therapists that are ready to run our pilot groups, and we've partnered up with La Maison Perchée, which is a mental health association for bipolar individuals, which has a 100-person waiting list that they can't take care of. And so we will be offering our services to them. In terms of what we're looking for, we need an investor to help us onboard more groups and therapists and build our platform.
Every day, grocery retailers have to order fresh products. To do so, they still estimate their demand based on gut feeling, causing tons of food waste, and on the flip side, 15% of lost revenues due to stockouts. But that was before IDA.
IDA is a supply chain software specialized for all the nuances of fresh food. We leverage cutting AI technology based on transformer fusion to help category managers place a profit-maximizing, waste-minimizing order for every item in their store. We predict stocks with high accuracy due to accurate demand forecasts by 2 pounds. Managers can override their recommendations, and it will automatically trigger our reinforcement learning models to constantly train itself to be better at what it does every day. Thanks to our simple IT connection with our clients, it is possible for them to order directly on our app to the distribution center and to the store's local suppliers. Our vision at IDA is therefore to transform each store and beyond, as we are the new way to win in fresh.
Hello London! We're so happy to see you back in real life after 3 years. And to mark the occasion, all the Launchpad students will be there. We can't wait to see you on Wednesday evening when you will hear 6 promising startup pitch. Over to you, London!
And here we are. Welcome to London. We are delighted to have you with us tonight. Welcome to the Grand Pitch and Cocktail Night at the Cinema Curzon. For those of you on LinkedIn or YouTube, welcome as well. You might wonder where I am. Well, I'm very close to the HEC UK house, which will open next week, the Hexagon building over there. We can't wait to welcome you there. See you very soon at the HEC UK house.
March 15th, 2023. This is the date you need to put in your agenda. Our class 2023 of the HEC Launchpad will travel to London by train, and they will experience, meet, interact with entrepreneurs and investors and the community in London. And then on March 15th, we'll have the Grand Pitch Night in the UK. 6 finalists will pitch in front of entrepreneurs, the jury, investors, and the whole HEC alumni community. In addition, in 2023, we will have the opening of our HEC UK House. There will be a spot for our entrepreneurs and innovators in London, downtown, Covent Garden. A special spot where you can meet, interact with the HEC community in London, meet entrepreneurs, meet investors, meet alumni. So join us on March 15th. You can even join us online. And please feel warmly welcome to join us at the HEC UK House.
Alexandre? Okay, so I guess it's time. So no more suspense, I think. Or
no more suspense.
Do you want maybe to say a few words about the deliberation? Or
yes, it's been a really hard deliberation. I think first of all, before I announce the winner, thank you to the jury. Thank you to all the teachers, everybody, all the participants, all the mentors, all the work that has gone behind all these pitches. Really fantastic. Yeah, big round of applause. And we had to select one winner. And actually, we think one company is ripe, the technology is there, they have demonstrated that clients actually want their solution, and we actually chose them. We also love research papers, to give you a little hint, and we want to get the research paper in our inbox as the first one. We also thought the team was very, very good, actually. So we actually chose Vuitton. Congratulations. We think there are many applications of your tech. We think you can do in-store, you can do video, and there is going to be a very strong demand. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, and let's write a lot of research paper in this domain.
And the votes are all closed, and we have now received the prize of the audience. And Emma, you're going to announce it.
Oh, I'm going to announce it. Okay, I'm going to announce it. So yes, the audience vote was closed, and I can announce that the winner was Ida. Congratulations. I think this is upside down, but well done.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a picture now because we are opening next week HEC UK House in London. It will be in Holborn, between Holborn and Covent Garden. And we're going to take a picture which will be in the Creative Lab. And every year we'll see the winners. And we are delighted to start this new tradition with you this year. Thank you all. I think, Inge, you wanted to say thank you as well, but yes.
I'd like to say thank you as well, yeah. It's so wonderful to see you all here. I think we met the first time at Capgemini when you started your program. I just would like to share with you one information. I don't know if you are aware, but you're the first cohort, the first class ever going all together to London. And I would like to say thank you to the Foundation HEC and to alumni who supported this project so that you have this experience all together. So thank you to the community and congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations to the winners. Thank you for being with us. Thank you to those of you who are following us online. We hope you enjoyed the evening. And to those of you here, there is a cocktail waiting for you just outside. Thank you.